Yeah, Okwe, I know you're an Arsenal fan. You know, the Premiership started on Friday. Started on Friday with the first game between Brentford FC versus Arsenal. And it was Brentford home, Arsenal away at the Brentford Community Stadium. We saw what happened, 2-0 to Brentford against the Arsenal. And, you know, looking at how Arteta took over Arsenal, took over from Freddie Ljungberg, interim manager, and ever since he took over, he had the stellar run of FA Cup win, the Charity Community Shield win, and he had his first season last season, finishing 8th, got to the semi-finals of Europa League, took Arsenal to the critical stage of the competition where we're supposed to get into the final. He was crashed out of the FA Cup. He couldn't defend the FA Cup. Crashed out of the EFL Cup, Carabao Cup rather, in the quarterfinals. Now, a new season, which is supposed to be like a fresh start for Arsenal. We saw how they capitulated and how they got bullied. Peter Drury said Arsenal were bullied at the Brentford Community Stadium. In all this, a lot of, that's left a lot of tongues wagging, saying Arteta should be sacked, Arteta should leave, Arteta shouldn't be the manager of Arsenal anymore. This is disappointing. We saw the rant by Troops. The video went viral. How it was hysterical. It was hysterical while the game was going on at the 74th minute when Arsenal considered the second goal. So, quick one, we're discussing, should Arteta be sacked as Arsenal manager?
Arteta out. His 2 words, Arteta out. It's just that simple, But then, first of all, I would like to say that for a club who has not been in the top flight of English football for 74 years, Brentford play good football. Okay? They've got a great manager who has been building up this team for about 4 years now. For about 4 years, they've been very, very close to getting promotion into the Premier League. They were very close during the 2019-20 season. They were not able to do that. They just fell short at the playoff stage. But then last season, they went all the way. And this was despite the fact that, they lost key players from that Brentford squad. Talking about someone like Ty Benrahma, who joined West Ham in January. And Oli
Watkins of Aston Villa.
Watkins, who joined Aston Villa as well. So, despite losing those key players, they recruited good enough players who filled in those positions, and they got promoted. It's standout players for me from the squad. Number 1, Ivan Toney. He's an absolute gunman. That's the way I'll describe him. He's a great striker, and he can adapt differently. And they've got a very good goalkeeper in David Raya. David Raya is someone who was started to join Arsenal sometime last season, just before the start of the last season. But you know what? Brentford have got a good squad together. They've got the brilliant Nigerian midfielder Franco Yika with them as well. So
the tank.
They played good. Yeah, they played good football against Arsenal. So it was a well-deserved win for them. However, when you talk about Arsenal, it's a new season, same old Arsenal. There's no major difference in their style of play. They keep going through the same route, and then at the end of the day, you just have to give praises to the likes of Tierney, Evan Smith Rowe. But now this is a new quality player has been added to the praises, which is Ben White. Individually, these players did fantastically well. However, they are playing in an Arsenal squad who was not just able to convert the chances created. You had a young Folarin Balogun and a young Gabriel Martinelli. They simply were not able to lead the line properly for Arsenal. And then you start a question just the day before, or rather, in those hours before the game, you hear about the absence of the club captain, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Alexander Lacazette.
Okay.
And then obviously you see Balogun and Martinelli starting. So, I begin to think about a lot of things. So at first, I could assume that maybe it was an issue of COVID, since Ronaldson was also not in the squad. It was Karl Hein who was on the bench. That was the substitute goalkeeper, and not even after Okonkwo. So, I was quite worried, as I suspected maybe COVID. But then, recent reports have suggested that Arsenal are willing to sell Aubameyang. Other reports have suggested that Lacazette could be used in a swap deal. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, I've been hearing also. So I'm just thinking to myself, is that Arteta's way of taking them out of the squad? That would even be a brilliant way to do it, because these are quality players that are needed. Alexander Lacazette has been one of the shining lights during preseason, if you ask me, looking very sharp. Lacazette helped us a lot last season, you know, when Aubameyang was not firing on all cylinders. And then I take a look at Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang throughout the preseason. Doesn't look like someone who's hungry. As far as
because everybody could see ever since he signed that bumper contract. I think performance is dipped.
Exactly. The intensity is not there anymore. The desire and hunger isn't there anymore. But you see, Arteta has a dilemma, because if you decide to play Aubameyang through the middle, Aubameyang will not give you that grit and that firepower that Lacazette brings. You know, Lacazette can easily drop down to fight for the ball, to link up those passes. But then Lacazette is lacking in the heights department, you know, and probably lacking in speed off the ball. So it's a tough situation for Arteta, if you ask me. But I mean, they are two quality players, so you need them in the team. I really hope that, because from yesterday's fixture, the fixture between Alaves and Real Madrid, I saw that Martin Odegaard was not in the squad. He was not even on the bench.
Yeah, wasn't on the bench.
His squad number has been taken off by Rodrigo. So that just goes to show that Odegaard is not in the plans of Ancelotti.
And I think the deal will pull through coming to Arsenal. Yes, the deal will pull through coming to Arsenal.
I expect that to happen as soon as possible.
Yeah,
the reason why I want Odegaard to come in is so that Odegaard can play through the middle. You have ESR on the left, and you can finally play Aubameyang or Laka through the middle comfortably.
Okay, just something. I just want to pull this out. It's just a start. You know, last season when Arsenal started the EPL, they went away to Fulham. Trashed Fulham 3-0. It was an impressive game by the Arsenal under the tutelage of Mikel Arteta. So is it not too how would I put it? Is it not too hasty for everybody to want Arteta out for whatever reason? Because they lost against Brentford. Yes, I'm not holding any brief for Arteta. You shouldn't be losing. With all due respect to Brentford, you shouldn't be losing to a newly promoted side who has not been in the Premiership for the past 74 or 47 years, whichever one is correct.
Yeah, 74.
But I just want to do a quick comparison, because I know Arsenal, Manchester United, kind of like the rivals, if I'm permitted to use that word, if that rivalry is still there up until now. We saw last season, Manchester United started poorly, losing to Crystal Palace at home, 3-1. And they also, the first two games at home, they lost it. And they also lost to Tottenham 6-1 at home. Still, I think the first four games, they picked 3 points, if I'm not mistaken. And going further into the season, Manchester United got knocked out of the Champions League group stage, making them to drop into the Europa League. But nobody wanted a head of Ole. The whole club was still behind Ole. Despite the hashtag going on Twitter back then, Ole out, Ole out. So is it not too hasty for all Arsenal fans to be shouting Arteta out? Just a minute to undo that or to address that.
Well, the difference between Arsenal now and United then, a major thing for United then was injuries. You know, a lot of players did not have good preseason. A lot of got injured during the preseason for United. United only got better and stronger when their key players came back into good form and their key players joined the team again. You know, but for Arsenal, it's different because it's basically the same set of players, if you ask me, but there is the same pattern of play. This Arsenal team was not successful last season in the Premier League because they could not be consistent. And their style of play is so predictable. It's very easy for the opposition to
obviously, but when you lack a creative midfielder, definitely your style of play will be predictable.
Exactly, and you know, ESR is young and growing, so he's not going to finish. He's not Mesut Ozil. I mean, no one is going to be Mesut Ozil. No one is going to be a Kaká or Zidane. I mean, ESR needs to know what works well for him. But however, it was a brilliant individual performance, if you ask me. I just feel like the players around him did not complement his hard work. Bukayo Saka is not back to full fitness yet. Nicolas Pepe is all over the place. Today is hot, tomorrow he's cold. But I mean, in fairness to Pepe, I just feel like the defenders he was up against were.
So is it a hasty decision to say Arteta out?
They didn't give him breathing space. Look, but I don't think it's too early for Arsenal fans to start saying Arteta out, because the performance that was given against Brentford is what we saw for the better half of last season. So
even without major players, Aubameyang, Lacazette.
Yes, even without major players.
No, but if those guys were there, would there be a difference in the way Arsenal handled that game?
Well, definitely there could be a difference. Number one, because if you have someone like Aubameyang then you could play. I mean, Ben White and Adebari would then be able to launch the ball up in the air. Same with Xhaka, but with Balogun and Martinelli, they couldn't play the ball up in the air. Everything they had to do was with the ball at their feet on the ground, and there wasn't really anyone there that could come up with some firepower and shoot from outside the box. Xhaka was never really in that position because Lokonga is a very, very mobile midfield. Compared to when Xhaka is playing alongside Partey, Xhaka can always launch forward because he knows that Partey is there to cover up his tracks. But Xhaka had to be more of the pivot in that midfield because Sambi is a very, very mobile midfielder. I mean, an impressive one at that. That's someone who I see a bright future ahead of him. I love the passes, the ideology from him, the ideation he comes up with. He's always looking for that forward pass. So that's a good signing. Actually, if you ask me, I was quite skeptical about him. I was skeptical about him settling into the Premier League, into the team and making an impact, but it was very decent if you ask me against Brentford. So yes, maybe having both Aubameyang, like I said, would have made a difference. Partey, maybe they would have had more. They would have been a bit more rigid in that midfield. But I mean, that take nothing away from Brentford once again. I'm not going to say if Thomas Partey was there that Arsenal would not be. They would have felt the heat in the midfield. They wouldn't have succumbed to the counter attack. I'm not going to say that because we did have a solid defense. On paper we had a solid defense. Kieran Tierney, Pablo Mari, Ben White, and Chambers, who currently is the best right back for Arsenal. So really no excuses. If you ask me. I can't guarantee that Arsenal would have won the game if Aubameyang and Lacazette play, because this Arsenal team is highly inconsistent.
Yeah,
there really is no guarantee.
So Okpe wants Arteta out, but like I said, it's just the beginning of the season. Yes, it's just the beginning of the season. Lose your first game, you don't know what the next 37 games hold. Manchester City lost today to Tottenham at home, and they lost to Tottenham, beat Tottenham being at home. Still 37 games to go. Anything can happen, but we'll see what goes on if Arteta gets sacked or not. Thank you very much, Okpe.
My pleasure.